White Dragon Ling. I'm going to be honest, I don't feel as excited about her. I feel like this would be a great place to introduce a CG Limit Burst, or maybe a story quest about her. But nope, she gets the Shui Yu treatment. Sudden arrival, no introduction. Think about the poor beginners! Think about the veterans who forgot all about her! Oh, the travesty. Lack of story aside, let's look at her Trustmaster reward. It's a materia that raises your unit's HP and attack by 40%, and boosts their Limit Burst gauge fill rate by 50%. It's very simple, excellent combination, but not exactly game-breaking. Her Super Trustmaster reward is a dagger with high attack. While it's not the best, it does have a passive that raises your unit's HP by 20% and your Limit Burst gauge fill rate by 150%. It's an underappreciated effect, better suited for support units than damage dealers. Onto her active abilities. Live Step straight up fills the morale gauge. Moving Dance boosts your team stats by 200%, boosts Ling's Limit Burst gauge by 1/18th, and fills the morale gauge by a very small amount. But if used after Dance of Revival, it turns into Moving Dance Plus, raising the stat buff to 250%, tripling the Limit Burst fill to 1/6, and doubling the morale gauge boost. And Thrall inflicts an 80% full break and lowers the enemy's resistance to daggers by 25%. Celestial combinations that boost your team's attack and magic by 250%, and grants them 3 skills: Marriage of Dragon and Phoenix, Force of the Phoenix, and Might of the Dragon. The first ability enables a triple cast of the latter two. Might of the Dragon deals physical damage that chains with Stardust Ray, while Force of the Phoenix deals magical damage that chains with Chaos Wave Awaken. Clean movement is a total dispel on both parties. Passionate Performance damages her, but it grants your team 100 MP and fills their Limit Burst gauges by a decent amount. Refreshing Twirl recovers a decent amount of your team's HP and lets them evade 2 attacks. Celestial Dance makes Ling cough up blood, but it fills her Limit Burst gauge completely, raises her team's Limit Burst gauges by a great amount, lets them evade 4 attacks, and enables a triple cast, so I guess it's worth it. Fortifying Movements raises your team's defense by 250%, grants them a 45% physical mitigation buff, and removes any defense breaks. Spirited Movements is the same thing, but oriented towards magical defense. Purifying Dance cures any status ailments on your team, and raises their resistance to them as well. Rejuvenating Dance revives any knocked out allies, fills her Limit Burst gauge by 1/3, and enables a triple cast. Disarming Movements inflicts an 85% full break, fills her Limit Burst gauge by 1/3, and also enables a triple cast. Transcended Performance can be used twice per battle. It grants your team a 50% physical, magical, and general mitigation buff, a HP barrier, and fills Ling's Limit Burst gauge by half. Onto her passives. With her Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, she'll gain stats, boost her Limit Burst gauge fill rate by 200%, and enable a 1-turn triple cast when she enters the fight. She has a double 200% killer buff against beasts, humans, machines, and reapers, with 50% innate physical evasion. It's not as impressive as Louise, but still, wow! As the developers told us, she has some interplay with the morale gauge. When it's above 150, she will automatically recover 125 MP for your team, raise their Limit Burst gauge by a bit, and then fill the morale gauge more. When it's below 50, she'll automatically boost her team's stats by 320%, recover half their HP and MP, and then fill the morale gauge even more, according to the amount of available allies. She has some offensive stats too, and though it seems an odd choice when she has no damaging abilities, you have to remember that she can enable them for herself as well. So, with all that connection to her Limit Burst, let's take a look at it. It boosts your team's defense and spirit by 300%, grants them a 55% general mitigation buff, a HP barrier, and a 5-turn re-raise buff. That last one justifies the high cost of the Limit Burst, and with Ling's Fascinate Limit Burst gauge fill rate, you can expect a constant amount of use. Time to change forms. White Dragon Ling has a true Brave Shift, which has no limitations whatsoever. Onto her active abilities. Blaze of the Phoenix lowers the enemy's fire resistance by 120%, imbues fire onto your allies, and boosts their fire damage by 25%. Radiance of the Dragon is the same thing, but with light. Dragon's Bite is a single hit attack that gets stronger with each use. Hunter's Stance grants your team a 150% double beast killer buff, and a 25% physical and magical mitigation against beast enemies as well. Assassin, Mechanic, and Medium Stance is the same thing, but affects humans, machines, and reapers respectively. Rallying Dance boosts your team's attack and magic by 280%, boosts their Limit Burst gauge fill rate by 200%, cures any attack or magic breaks, and enables a triple cast. Dragon Dancer can be used twice per battle. It fills Ling's Limit Burst gauge, fills a great chunk of your team's Limit Burst gauges, recovers 300 MP for them, and permanently raises the damage modifier of Dragon's Bite. Passives. They're the same. So, onto her Limit Burst. It raises your team's attack and magic by 300%, raises their Limit Burst damage by 200%, and lets them evade 5 attacks. It's a nice effect, but the best damage dealers can buff their own offensive power by similar amounts. It's still good if you can use it though, and works wonders when your damage dealer's buffs are no longer available. Let's prioritize Brave abilities. Raise them all. Killer moves, Phoenix's Grace, and Dragon's Honor all raises her stats, which you'll appreciate greatly. Time to make a damage rotation, or in this case, you're buffing someone else. I'll assume her Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward is equipped for an instant triple cast. On turn 1, switch forms. Cast Dragon Dancer, Rallying Dance, and Let's Go of Fire, so Blaze of the Phoenix. On turn 2, cast Enthrall, Celestial Combination Step, and select a killer buff. On turn 3, you can activate her Limit Burst. With most buffs online, you can just go with the flow from here. Maybe you'll switch to her base form for defensive buffs, or maybe you need to apply more killer buffs. Maybe you'll dance and cap chains with the improved Dragon's Bite. Regardless, White Dragon Ling is an excellent support unit, with a generally well-rounded kit with few hoes. If anything, the one disadvantage might be the difficulty in figuring out what to prioritize. She does lack resistance breaks, but she just as easily cures them. There's also no elemental resistance, but it's a bit ridiculous to throw that onto her as well. Regardless, more often than not, by slotting Ling into your team, you'll be well prepared for a great majority of content. Of course, she does face competition. The Neo Vision Aerith is another fire and light supporter, and is much better as well, and is quite possibly free. However, Ling enables chaining with Stardust Ray and Chaos Wave Awaken, has easy access to evasion stacks, tools against a concentrated set of species, and a Limit Burst that can potentially spam some re-raise buffs. You can try pairing the two together when the time comes. With Ling's chaining tools, you have a bit more leeway than you'd think. Overall, White Dragon Ling is an incredible unit that may not be necessary, yet has so much to offer that it's hard to feel disappointed. Her performance skyrockets in Clash of Wills, but she has so much to offer even outside of it. But let's be real, she doesn't have a CG Limit Burst. Actually, now that I think about it, wouldn't Louise's soft voice actor be a better fit for a support CG Limit Burst? Anyways, thanks for watching, and if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment below if you got White Dragon Ling. As a side note, her 25% Dagger Impero feels like it replaces Neo Vision Hawkeye. So yeah, E confirmed. Goodbye.